games remain just 11. If your ball club wins all 11, they will match their win total from 2024, their win total from 2023. And as such, in Ben Cherington math, they'll be doing even more winning. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Cubs 4, Pirates 0 last night at PNC Park. The Pirates' record remains stuck at 65 wins. They, of course, won 76 in each of the previous two seasons, infamously moving Cherington to remark publicly that they were doing more winning after the 2024 season. By almost any reckoning, this is not more winning, whether it's the total or whether it's just this ongoing window now of 9 losses in 10 games. There are not many places in professional sports where 9 losses in 10 games is so normalized it barely registers a local pulse, but here we are. For the month of September, if you want to include that momentarily uplifting sweep of the Dodgers at the outset of the month, the team is 4-9. Not exactly cresting, not exactly winning more. What's worse, I would argue, is that they're still doing it the same way. Even when they had the nice stretch that was capped by the sweep of the Dodgers, there wasn't a ton of hitting happening. And that's common sense because they can't hit. But when those W's are L's, you see that these numbers are that much more rattling. The game last night, the Pirates had 3 total hits. 3 total hits. Spencer Horwitz doubled, Brian Reynolds and Nick Gonzalez singled, and thanks for coming. They're dead last in runs with 540. That's 18 fewer than the Rockies. They're dead last in home runs, and by a mile, with 107, 28 fewer than the Padres. They're dead last in the all-encompassing OPS figure, 653, 13 points behind the Guardians. One would think this would result in Bob Nutting following through and firing Cherington once the season ends. I've reported to you time and time again my belief that that's what's going to happen, not as a forecast, not as a prediction, certainly not as a hot take, but my belief based on the way I've heard people speaking of Cherington, his job performance, and his status throughout the summer, reaching all the way to the very top. But today, I have a question for you. And if you want to know something, this is precisely the place to ask it. Because you, person who pressed play on this program today, are in no position to claim apathy. It's the 16th of September. Your team's been out of everything since mid-April, and yet you still chose to invest at least a small portion of your day on this particularly painful subject. So you can't give me a I'm done with these guys kind of answer to the question I'm about to ask. And that question is this. If Nutting were to retain Cherington, if Nutting were to make known in any form, whether it's before the end of the season or right after the season, that he's keeping Cherington, what would you do? And I'm not talking about, your visceral reaction or how you'd feel. I have a pretty good idea about that. What would you actually do? What would be the action that you'd take as opposed to the reaction that you'd have? A little bit of a story for you. Last night, while the Pirates and Cubs were playing this game, I took my son for a walk through downtown. We went to eat at 6th Street. He's not into sports at all, at all. But he is legit interested when I share with him history or cool quirks about the 3 teams in town that I cover. So just casually, the conversation turned to Clemente Day, because he noticed a lot of people here downtown wearing 21 jerseys, more than usual anyway. And I told him what Clemente Day was about. I told him in particular about how all of the Pirates would be wearing 21 for this game and how they're the only team that's permitted to celebrate the day that way by Major League Baseball. And he lit up like he loved this. He thought this was just the neatest thing. What a point of pride for the city, for the Clemente family, for Puerto Rico. And to that, I came back with, yep, this is what they're throwing away over there. This and the prettiest ballpark anywhere in the world and a local population here that would love them like their own children if they were only just decent and competitive and tried hard. And he asks, why? And I responded, he's in college right now, by asking him, are there people that you know, other students, maybe even teachers that you observe who just aren't competitive people, who have different priorities, who really don't worry much whether they win or lose, who aren't affected by it? And that was when it came together. That was when it made sense, at least as much as it can. My belief, once more, emphasizing that word, is that Nutting's going to finally do the right thing. I'm curious to hear from you on our DK Pittsburgh Sports app in the comments section what you would do if he doesn't do the right thing. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than North Shore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, North Shore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about North Shore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Hey guys, if you're planning to see a Pirates game, use the Game Time app to get your tickets. You can snag new ticket deals before anyone if you set it into app alerts. The app is easy to use, no surprise fees at checkout. You can see your seat view before buying, and you're getting legit tickets delivered on time. Now, if you're not much of a planner, you can get last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event. Lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app and enter the code DKPirates in your app profile for $20 off your first purchase. Today's J1Q comes from AJ, who says Ben Cherington's tenure has been astonishing. It's taken an already bad relationship between the team and its fan base and turned it into one of the most toxic fan base relationships I have ever seen. When you combine the trades, the drafting, the player development, all of which alone are wretched, and then combine them with the endless stream of public relations fiascos and arrogance, it just defies belief. If Bob Nutting brings him back for year 7 of a rebuild, we might need a Geiger counter to measure how radioactive things become. There's not a question in there from AJ, but I was grateful for the wording that he put together. I thought it was effective in doing something that I often don't do and should, and that's just to take a general feel, take a general temperature of a given situation instead of being super specific all the time. I always kind of feel like I have the personality where I've got to prove a point and then I've got to back it up with this, and this. What AJ's saying here is this is just bad. This is really, really bad. And I dare say, and this is with immense respect and no criticism whatsoever, but Paul Skeens himself actually makes this worse. Think about it. If Skeens isn't here, a lot of this isn't getting exposed. I'm not talking about places where they don't cover the Pirates or don't care about them. I'm talking about right here. Skeens and his presence makes it so much more stark and glaring how incompetent these people are just by virtue of being here, never mind winning the Cy Young Award, which he's going to. If you were paying attention, I mean real attention, to what was happening when Skeens arrived in Pittsburgh, you'd know that this was a rock star formation taking place. People were coming from all over. And again, I'm not talking about way out of towners or out of staters. I'm talking about right here in Pittsburgh. People were ready to pack that stadium from now till eternity to watch this kid pitch. Just like I said earlier, that only these people, could kill such a strong scenario. And I understand Major League Baseball's economics are a big wrench in this, but I'm throwing that out just for the moment. Only they could do that. Only they could take something like Skeens coming in here and being so formidable, not only in his pitching, but also in his persona and his confidence, that he could overcome what these guys do from a development perspective to everybody else. Because as I told you guys way early in Skeens' time, not in Pittsburgh, but before that, they weren't going to screw this one up because he'd never allow it. To see that and to see him once every 5 days go out there and pitch the way he does, you look around and the crowds are, whatever it is now, 15 or 16 when he takes the mound, and it's been like that most of the summer. He didn't do that. We, Pittsburghers, didn't do that. The pathetically non-competitive people running the Pirates did that. Appreciate you, AJ. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.